So, Lucille, Joe, Nana, Pop, do you give me permission to interview you and share this on YouTube?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. How did you meet and what drew you together?
Oh, let me tell this. I had an older cousin, and she met his friend. So she says, "You got to come with me." Well, I was underage. So she said, "Well, I'll get you somebody else's ID because he doesn't have a car, the fellow I'm dating. He's coming with his friend, and I need somebody to go with me." So we went to this place, the Palm Pike, and I met Joe. I lied to him about my age because he figured I was old enough to be at the Palm Pike because you had to be over 21 to get in, and I wasn't near 21. And that's how we met. And when I met him, I went home and told my mother, I met the man I'm going to marry. She says, "Oh, you're always getting married." But it was true.
I'll tell you, my friend had said to me, "Can you give me a ride up? I'm going out with this girl." And I said, "Fine." I said, "Yeah, I'll take you up and drop you off." He says, "Well, she's going to bring a friend." I said, "Nah, don't worry about it. I'll drop you off." And so he says, no, she's got a friend. So I had to go in and meet the friend.
Oh.
So, I mean, I didn't know how old she was, but she wasn't that old. I was robbing the cradle. And I had just gotten out of service. And,
Handsome, yeah.
we were bouncing around. 5 of the guys I was in service with, when we got out, we all bought motorcycles. We all were riding around. And I had no interest,
Mm-hmm. You weren't looking for anything?
Yeah, see, I should have told him, I should have gave him the car and let him take it himself.
Oh, no! You're so funny. Oh, man. Well, so what kind of describe the decision of wanting to marry her? When did you kind of know that it was you wanted
Well, she
to
told me.
I didn't tell you.
It runs in the family.
Yeah, she told me, no. I don't know. We were going out.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
How long did you go out for before?
A couple of years before we got married.
Yeah.
But, I mean, after
But then I had to tell him the truth
After
of how
about
old
a-
I was.
after about a year, then we started thinking, well, we were getting along fairly well.
Yeah.
We started talking about getting married. So we got engaged after a year.
And my father said, "Why'd you give her a big diamond like that? She loses everything."
Did you lose it?
No.
Okay.
So, we talked about it. The night we got engaged, I took her to New York. We went to Basin Street East, and we saw Louis Prima.
Wow.
Yeah, we did.
Did you propose before that or after that? After you
Proposed?
saw
I don't think I ever proposed. We just.
You just
He
said,
asked my dad, though.
We're
Oh yeah,
engaged?
I said, and he said, "You don't really want to marry my daughter."
She'll drive you crazy, he told him.
Sometimes the words of wisdom come from older people, and you don't listen. You really don't listen. So this is what happens. This is what happens. I'm talking to all you young people out there. Words of wisdom from the older people.
were you nervous, like after you were getting married, you were preparing? So you guys lived, when you first got married, did you live with anybody or did you live on your own in an apartment?
We had our own apartment over
Yeah.
His
my
mother's
parents'
house.
Were you guys nervous to move in together? Totally different lifestyles
I was,
coming
because
together.
I only lived in my parents' house. I never went anywhere or never went on
Well, it was like I never left home, basically.
Yeah.
But we were upstairs. We were independent.
Mm-hmm.
She cooked every day. I mean, I remember when we came back from our honeymoon, she made breakfast for me the next morning. She made 2 pounds of potatoes, 5 eggs, and all this other stuff. And I ate, and I didn't eat everything. And she wondered, why wasn't I eating everything? Now I'm as big as a house because I eat everything.
Now, as you guys, progressed with your relationship, who worked in the household and how did you support the family?
Well, she stayed home.
in the beginning.
Because, we had a child then, and I worked.
Yeah. What did you do for a living?
I was a mechanic.
Now, were you part-time, full-time? What kind of duties did you do? Did you work at a shop or were you at some
I
kind
worked
of?
as a mechanic originally in a textile factory, a machinery repairman,
Okay.
and I worked running a boiler
Wow.
room. Yeah, I was the stationary engineer.
Was there difficulties and stresses of the job, and was there anything that was rewarding at the time?
Well, it was a little stressful because it was a 7 day. I worked 7 days a week, and then I worked like 10 hours a day,
Oh wow.
and I worked every day for like 6 years. I
So
didn't
that
miss a
must have
day.
been hard to
Well,
balance.
I mean, there was no really social life for us,
Yeah.
you know, because I was working all the time.
Yeah.
And the only reward that came out of that was we had enough money to put a down payment on a house.
Oh, so it paid
after
off at
6
the end.
years.
Did you change your job after the 6 years too, or did you stay there?
Yeah, I changed
Yeah.
the job and I went into a different industry, and I went into supervision and
Okay.
management.
Interesting. That's good. So you mentioned that, you had a child at the time. Describe the birth of your children and how far apart they are in age, and tell me about them.
My son, that was one of the, I guess, the best time being a mom.
It's your first time being
First
a mom,
time,
right?
yeah.
What year was he born?
1964, May 14th.
Okay. Was it a hard labor or?
It was a long labor, yeah.
Yeah, it was long. It was
Real
a couple
long
days.
Yeah.
Couple
and,
days.
Were you able to go in with her, or was that
No.
not at the
No,
time?
no.
No, they made me go up to see him, and I said, "Take me home." He said, "I can't." It was, I was young, and it was.
It's a
first
new
time-
experience,
new
you know.
Experience, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what to expect or what's going to
Yeah.
happen, you know.
And then he was born, and it was beautiful. I brought him home, and everything was decorated. My mother-in-law made the most beautiful bassinet for him, and he was like my father-in-law. They were in awe. My parents.
Well, it was the
and
first grandchild.
first grandchild on both sides. Yeah.
Now, compared to when he was born to when Jerry was born, what was the difference? Was it second kid? They always say, like, you know what you're doing at that point.
Well, I had a hard birth week.
It was a
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
It was a
Tough
one,
time.
And what year was she born?
She was 68.
Yeah. And then Kristen, what about her? How was the birth
Oh, that
with
was
her?
the surprise of our life.
How many years
Kristen.
apart are they?
Almost what? 12?
12.
12 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
And
surprise.
I never thought I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And then
It was just
got
like,
her.
hello.
Hello.
And now,
Yeah.
what year was she born?
79.
Wow.
December
All right.
79, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, was there a big difference by the time you were bringing her home because you had two kids that were already almost teenagers,
Well,
or
Joe
if
was-
not,
They were
yeah.
They were
teenagers.
teenagers.
Joey was
Yeah.
16.
And now you had a newborn.
Yeah,
was
it
that
was.
difficult
It
to
was.
readjust to?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Dinners were exciting. The dinner table was very exciting at that time.
Brought life to
The little
house.
girl,
Yeah.
you got a little one and the real older ones, and it was exciting. We had a good time.
That's fun. Now, what were each kid like when they were younger? Were they good, bad? Was it challenging? Or did you have an easy baby? Did you have a tough kid? What?
Well, Joe was never slept. He was up every night,
Yeah.
and then he was never a sleeper from the day he was born.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom, Jerry, she was the best baby.
She went out,
You
boom.
gave her a bottle. She drank the whole bottle, and she
Went
went
right
to
to
sleep.
sleep.
And
Kristen was
Kristen
up,
was
too.
like, she was a little peanut. She just was a little peanut, and at that time everybody had a chance to hold her, and they thought, there was a new baby, and
But
I
they
had
were-
the two teenage kids.
They were all good kids.
That's
They were all
good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing to
Can't
give you
complain.
gray hair or
No,
anything.
No,
No.
they were good kids. I mean, I was
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah,
They
they
were good
all
kids.
did what they had to do. They never
They were
gave
good
us
kids,
any
yeah. No
heartache. I
problem.
mean, the only
Never had to
heartache
worry
was the
about it,
sickness
yeah.
that
They
we
were
had
good.
with Joe.
What family activities did you do together?
Oh, we did everything together.
Yeah, we went all over.
Vacations,
We
went
did everything.
all over together.
Yeah.
Went
Do you
all
have
over.
any favorite memory of one specific family? Just one.
Well, we took the camper and we went to Disney World because we wanted to experience camping.
Camping.
So we rented this big streamlined camper, and that was fun.
That's
And
awesome.
the kids loved it.
But
And you
they,
drove
they
down
were
together?
older. The
Drove
kids
all the
were
way
older
down.
then.
And
Okay.
Kristen was like about 5.
Okay.
Kristen was 5. Yeah,
yeah.
Joey was 22.
No,
He had just graduated from college.
college, yeah.
And
Wow.
Gerald, your mom graduated
High
from high
school.
school.
Wow.
They all graduated at the
And
same time.
we went down, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the first time when I guess Joe was maybe 10 or 11,
We went to Disney World.
we went to Disney World, and
2
the first night, we're in the pool, and she takes your mom out of the pool, and it was 10 o'clock at night, and I said, "Come on, Joe," and Joe goes, "No, one more dive, Dad," and he dives off, he comes in, and he's bleeding
his
all
mouth.
over the pool.
Oh, no.
So I look at it, and he's got this big gash on his lip. He hit the diving board.
Oh.
So I said, "We got to take you to the hospital, because otherwise, it was the first night of the vacation. The vacation would have been a disaster."
Yeah.
So we took him to the hospital. It was 11 o'clock at night, and there was a doctor there, surgeon, and he was a Cuban fella, because this was the time when the Cubans were coming over after Castro, and he stitched him up, and we had a great time.
That's
It
awesome.
was a great,
2 weeks
great.
we were in Florida. Yeah.
Wow.
We had a great time.
And
I mean,
Florida, Disney World didn't have Epcot or anything.
That was
it was
the
only
first,
5
it was
years
5
old.
years old at
Disney.
the time. This
Wow.
was way back
Yeah.
when.
That's
Every
so
5
cool.
years we went
Like
to
in the
Disney
60s.
World.
Wow.
It was in the
Yeah.
60s, yeah.
That's amazing. Did you have any family traditions that maybe you passed on to your children?
Yeah, we would every Christmas Eve we would sit together and share one little gift before we went anyplace else.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, we would
Yeah.
sit and share that good.
That's really nice. Now, what was the most satisfying thing about raising children?
Oh, just being proud of them and being happy.
I think you see them to grow and mature and hopefully do the right thing. And with our kids, we were very fortunate.
Yeah.
We saw them do the right thing and take responsibility for who they were and what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
They went to school, you know.
different
And
personalities. so you
they
had
were
to
all
meet
different
them where they
personalities.
were.
All different
That's it.
personnel. But, you know, they were all.
Yeah. And what was the most difficult thing you think about raising children?
Worry
Well,
about them. You know,
All the time, constantly.
what what was
You're-
going to
you're
become
up.
of them, where they were going.
You stay up
who
all
they-
night until they're home. I can remember we'd be in bed, and Joey was in his senior year in college, or he was home for the summer, and we would be in bed and waiting, and all of a sudden you hear bang, 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 and he's in the kitchen making something to eat, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So I said, "Okay, he's the last one in. Now we can go to sleep."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But you wake up and you stay up all night waiting for them to get
You
home.
worry all the time.
Yeah.
You worry.
Now, what kind of values did you try to raise your kids with? And how did you go about doing that?
Well, we try to raise them with Christian values.
Mm-hmm.
You know, through the church, and right and wrong, right?
Yeah, just wanted them to treat everybody the
Same
same.
and be
You know,
kind.
we're all God's children, and you don't want any discrimination or anything. Yeah, you want to reach out and help people and do
Yeah.
whatever you can.
Yeah.
And be kind. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah. I definitely know from personal experience, I think your children definitely still use those values. So I think that's awesome that later in life that they're still,
You only
fostering
hope.
that.
You only hope. You know.
Yeah.
You just do what you can do.
Well, is there anything else you would like to say? Anything you want to add? Anything you want to tell us about? Just any last thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you, after 58 years, she's still a good girl.
Oh, I'm just so proud of my whole family, that my grandchildren and you, Jenny, especially
Thank
my
you.
number one,
Thank you.
and
Yeah, the grandkids. Great.
grandkids made us very happy,
Yeah.
and having Joe coming
Joe's
into
part
our
of the family now.
Yeah,
Hopefully have a
beautiful.
golfing partner before he moves up north. Yeah, we'll do well. We'll do well.
Well, I just want to thank you both for taking the time today and interviewing with me. And I really appreciate it. And I hope you had a fun time during this interview.
We
Oh,
did. It
we
was
did.
good.
I hope you
I hope
learned
you're
a
able
lot
to
more.
edit this thing out the right way.
I
And you
will.
get an A.
Do you hear that? Get an
An
A.